Everybody, what's up? Coach Mosley back at it again. Native Texans walkthrough. Let go. All right. So when we left off last time, we had left off talking about the Texas regions. All right. And as I've been telling you guys, and as I've been emphasizing to you guys, everything builds on one other thing, right? So where we left off was my Gucci needing cleaning. What? Gucci? Man, look, your boy is crispy, dripping everything. So now the question becomes, well, who gonna clean my Gucci? Guess what? I got my dude Jack. My Jack, he got me. He got my back. All right. So Jack said he's gonna clean my Gucci. And I know you probably look at his name and you like, well, man, he can't spell. And you're kind of right. He really can't spell. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. All right. So here it is. Jack is gonna clean my Gucci. That is the native Texans, and we're gonna show you how it all kind of all comes together like a good gumbo. All right. So here's how it all works. You have my Gucci needs cleaning, and like we talked about in the last video, my mountains and basins, Gucci, Great Plains, needs, North Central Plains, cleaning, coastal plains. So that gives us our four regions, right? The brown, orange, yellow, and green. All right, cool. All right, so now that we know where my Gucci is, let's be introduced to Jack. So Jack, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. Oh, glad you're here, man. Glad you're here. I thought about myself. All right, so here we go. Check it out. So we have humanos. So it says here, humanos based everybody. Humanos are farmers. And so let's start with the basic level of farming. What do you need when you are trying to farm? Well, you need water, you need sun, and you need crops. Well, hmm, let's go. Let's figure this thing out. Let's start pulling back the layers. Well, they're farming, but as you know, in the mountain basins, it's the desert. So you're asking me to farm in a desert. Well, by farming in a desert, it's definitely going to affect my clothing, right? It's going to affect how I actually farm. And secondly, it's going to affect how I'm actually going to be able to farm, right? And so, besides the clothing, as I'm thinking about farming, I need what? I need water. Okay, crops need water. So, where am I going to get the water from? I'm going to get the water from the Rio Grande River. All right. So, the Rio Grande River, as we can tell here, runs alongside the mountains and basins region. And so they're going to try to figure out a way of how am I going to get this water to my crops. They're going to use irrigation. All right. Now, as far as their housing is Adobe. May have Adobe bricks. Well, if you've researched Adobe, Googled it, pictures, Google images, all of those things, you will see that basically Adobe is brick. And that brick is formed from clay and basically drying the mud out in the sun. And you form clay by having water, dirt, and you put it together, get your clay, put it out in the sun, and dry it. So again, this desert has plenty of sun, it has plenty of dirt. What it doesn't have a lot of is water. So again, irrigation is going to use not only help them with their crops, but it's going to help them with their housing. Okay, so irrigation is how they adapt in the desert. It's how they were able to survive in the desert. All right, now that brings us to our Plains Indians. I'm going to do both of them at the same time. Our Plains tribes, okay? That's the Apache and the Comanche. So our Plains, I say Plains as in the area they stayed in, they were both hunters. So I'm going to do it once, but it goes for both of them, okay? So as hunters, if you're a hunter, animals move. Simple idea. Animals move. They're not crops. Plants don't move. Animals do. Let that sink in. Okay, I got it. Animals move. So, because animals move, these particular animals they were following or eating or hunting were the buffalo. So, as the buffalo would move, Well, Mr. Mosley, hold on. Why did the buffalo move? Didn't even think about that. That's why they moved, because they were grazing. Well, what's grazing? Grazing simply means to eat and then move. Eat and move. So they were grazing. They were moving around and they were eating. Now, because they were moving around, that means the Apache and the Comanche had to move around, which made them nomadic. All right. So if you're going to be moving around, well, how does that affect your housing? Can you have a brick house like the Humanos? No, you ain't carrying a brick house. I'm not carrying a brick house. That ain't gonna work. So that housing had to be very lightweight, right? Very flexible, and that's why they had teepees. Okay, so buffaloes move, graze. They're eating the seeds of grass, all the grass around. They're moving around, which causes the Apache and the Comanche, in order for them to survive, they have to be able to be nomadic. They got to be able to move. That leads us over to the Caddo. All right, the Caddo were hunters and gatherers. Man, they were a little bit of everything. Basically, the Caddo had it made. They was chilling. They were in the forest. They had deer they could hunt, rabbit. They had hunter. They could have plenty of good soil because they're living in the coastal plains. Life is good, people. I mean, they got rivers and water, and I mean, they're good. So they basically, I mean, they just had a good life. I don't know what to tell you. They were farmers. They had permanent housing. They didn't have to move. They actually set up trading with other. You know, that's a big part of their society was trades with other natives. Man, they basically just had a good life. They were living in this little forest, man. Just, we're gonna keep it moving. They just had a good life. I don't know what to tell you. There one thing I will point out is that their housing was very tall, because if you look up piney woods, these trees are very slim, slender, and tall, and so the houses were kind of used. They used that to kind of adapt in their area by using those trees for their housing. But I mean, like I said, I'm gonna keep it pushing. The Cados had it. They had it good. All right. Kawankoas. Let's finish it up with the Kawankoa. So the Kawankoa lived in the coastal plains as well. So unlike the Caddo, who lived in the northern part of the coastal plains, the Kawankoas lived in the southern part of the coastal plains along the coast. The Kawankoas was like, if we're gonna say the Caddo had the good life, Kawankoas, they kind of had that millennial life. They kind of moved around. When I say millennial, I mean young life. They were single. Hey, I ain't got no ties, baby. I'm moving around. So they were seasonal. All right. Now, them being seasonal, in the winter, they had they had two houses, right? So in the wintertime, they'd be along the coastline, they fishing. It's good. Y'all know how it is in Houston. It ain't really cold. It ain't like cold in Houston, right? So they along the coastline, they fishing. Gotta watch out for the alligators. Using the alligator fat, because we do know in Houston there's a lot of mosquitoes, and so they would use alligator fat, and they would use that as like their insect repellent. That's kind of fly. Like, when I always teach that every year, I've been thinking about that. Think about this for a second. Whose idea was it to be like, guys, I ain't never seen a mosquito go over there by that alligator. I wonder if we kill an alligator, maybe we could just fat to keep these mosquitoes off of us. Just a thought. I mean, who actually? Anyway, all right. Point is, Kawankoas alligators. They were fishermen, and they fished during the winter. All right, and then during the summer, they would go in. They would go inland, and then they would become kind of a hunter gatherers. Hunting, gathering berries, things like that to survive during the summer. All right, and so as a result, everybody, in order for them to survive, it made them semi-nomadic. Now, two quick things. Well, why did they have to move? Why couldn't they stay on the coast during the summer? Two reasons. One, the fish would move, and the fish would move towards sea during the summer. One. Again, everybody, you guys live in Houston. Hurricane season is in the summer. So not only would it flood and hurricanes and those types of things, so the weather along the coast would obviously be a lot worse. And so they would try to move inland to where it was safer during the summer months. Okay. So hurricane season, flooding, things like that That's why the fish going deeper in the sea and not being so available. These were things that pushed them to go inland during the summer. All right. So everybody, that's Jack. We want to welcome him to our class. I hope you guys got what you need out of these tutorials, out of these walkthroughs. If they're helpful, let me know. If they're not helpful, don't let me know. No, I'm just kidding. And, I hope it helps you. But other than that, everybody, I look forward to seeing you guys in the Zoom. Let's keep it interactive. Let's keep it fun. And good luck on your tests.